Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. It's freaking Monday, and I hope you're feeling fine. Because right now I'm feeling like the kid in the car ride where your mom says, "We're almost there," and you're like, "But where are we going?" And she says, "Just be patient, it'll be so worth it." And you're like, "But where are we going?" Except Nintendo is your mom and I'm still me trying to figure out what the heck is gonna happen. We know that they're going good places. We just don't know how, when, why, or where. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're having a great morning. We got a lot to talk about, including Nintendo's falling dominoes and why the Zelda 35th anniversary is the big piece that needs to fall so the rest of the year can make sense. Also, seems like Nintendo and Microsoft are cooking a new special partnership, and that has me excited. So smash that like button to show some love. Let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about Nintendo this fine morning. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe. We do Good Morning Mario every weekday. It's the best show to find out about what's going on with Nintendo and to take a peek at little birds riding on tea. Check that guy out. He's riding right on the tea line. Getting his little feet wet there. Little birdie feet. Oh my goodness gracious, I gotta take a sip. Don't get too wet, bird, don't get too wet. Before we get to any of that though, there was a very juicy Fire Emblem rumor spreading around the internet like fire this weekend, and it goes something like this. Nintendo is rumored to be working on a new Fire Emblem game after the extreme success and sales of Fire Emblem Three Houses on Switch. And Fanabomb, a very popular Fire Emblem leaker that got a lot right about Three Houses, said Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, maybe they're building to something bigger. Now, if you don't know, those are the GameCube and Wii Fire Emblem titles that got a lot of cult love, but not a lot of sales dollars, and it would be a super cool combo pack. But to cut a long story short, he said that it was just speculation and not based on anything real or any sort of actual leak. So who knows what Nintendo's working on in the FE franchise? In a similar way, who knows what Nintendo's working on for The Legend of Zelda? That dude's 35th birthday was February 21st. I am chronically late, but I would never have a belated B-Day gift that is over 2 months too tardy. Nintendo's plans this year just really bank on what happens with The Legend of Zelda. And we've talked a lot about what games are coming for the 35th anniversary. We know Skyward Sword is hitting in July, along with those super blue Joy-Con. But outside of that, it's kind of a big mystery. Now, we do have some credible rumors about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess eventually hitting Switch in some capacity, and we of course know that Breath of the Wild 2 is due, but in what order and when? And it really feels like that will determine what else we're playing on Switch in 2021. By that I mean, if Breath of the Wild 2 isn't ready to go for a holiday launch, then I expect Nintendo to shift something else into its place. And Wind Waker Twilight Princess, that could be one of those games. But if Breath of the Wild 2 does make this fall, then I would expect those older Zeldas to instead shift to early 2022. Nintendo will go hard for Zelda, maybe not as hard as Mario, but I don't believe they will be jam-packing 4 Zelda games in 4 months. Like, we're not gonna go Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild 2, back to back to back to back. That is cannibalizing sales. And it's not just game releases, it's presentations as well. We expected a Zelda Direct to sort of mirror the Mario Direct we received last September, and we ain't seen nothing yet. So if Nintendo is to put forth a Zelda presentation in the coming months, then we could expect E3 to really focus on other titles, but if that doesn't come to fruition, then E3 will probably be very Zelda-centric. There's just a lot of holding pattern right now from Nintendo. I mean, we didn't get the Indie World in March that we've gotten every other Switch year. And it brings into question how much is the coronavirus pandemic affecting Nintendo in 2021. We know it impacted them in 2020, and we see it impacting everybody in 2021. Nintendo has a really regular release schedule coming up with Pokemon Snap here. We've got Mario Golf, we got Skyward Sword, Famicom Detective Club, a lot of titles every couple weeks. They're really being prolific in their first-party releases. But is this sort of Zelda stop something that was planned or something that is seeing the effects of slowdown and work from home? We know last year the Mario 35th anniversary was well delayed beyond this summer, and I hope that's not the case for Zelda. But here's what I believe. Skyward Sword is going to be the start of the festivities. Nothing will come out before that. So that is where it begins, and where it goes seems very dependent on how much they can get together. But based on all the rumors and all the leaks and all the reports on the Switch Pro, I do believe that Nintendo is full steam ahead on trying to launch their new Switch console alongside Breath of the Wild 2 this fall. That would put Wind Waker and Twilight Princess probably in early 2022, kind of in that new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe / Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury slot. Which makes the most sense to me because you launch your big new game in the fall and followed it up with some re-releases from past consoles in the early winter or spring. Now there are side pieces to the Zelda conversation as well that could be impacting Nintendo's other plans. We've heard many a rumor about N64 being added to Nintendo Switch Online, but is that classic console being mucked up by Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask? Maybe that's tied to the Zelda anniversary as well. And what about an Animal Crossing partnership or merchandise deals? It really feels like so much hinges on The Legend of Zelda, so dang it, Nintendo, give us the details. What is going on with Link and his friends? We need to know so that everything else can fall into place. Frankly, Nintendo's having a great year thus far, and I think that this one is going to set up to be one of their best. They've been served a softball. The other consoles are hard to get and game releases are struggling. Delays are aplenty and Nintendo has the prime opportunity to sweep the floor with the competition. If they're able to bring out a new Mario Party and a Breath of the Wild 2 or Mario Kart 9 and some awesome Zelda redos, it's going to be a really good year. Alongside the rumored Fire Emblem remake, new Donkey Kong, Metroid, like they are gearing up to have an absolutely stellar fall. We just need the Zelda Master Sword to fall so we can know what else is going on. It's so interesting that this anniversary is so intrinsically tied to everything else Nintendo does this year. Mario didn't have the same oomph because it wasn't bringing a brand new game. It's not like Odyssey 2 was part of the 35th anniversary, everything was classic, and so it shifted in a lot more of a secondary way. Breath of the Wild 2 is like the biggest kahuna, so where that falls, especially being tied to the potential Switch Pro, a brand new console, like this is a very big deal. And so how Nintendo delicately balances everything, that's the biggest thing going on right now in the Nintendo verse. But it seems like something else big is brewing, and once again between Nintendo and Microsoft. Doug Bowser and Phil Spencer uniting their forces for some sort of fall surprise. Jeff Grubb over at GamesBeat said on his latest podcast that he believes everything on Phil Spencer's shelf means something. Spencer has like a really cool gaming shelf behind him in his videos, and even the Switch, Grubb says, means something. And then the owner of XboxEra.com, Special Ed, came out and said the cat seems to be out of the bag on Nintendo and Xbox. You'll hear more in the fall. The pipe dream is Game Pass on Nintendo Switch, which would bring a plethora of third-party titles and nearly perfect this system to a level I don't think we've ever seen. Like, if Game Pass was on Switch, this might be the best system in the history of systems. But even if it's a smaller sort of deal, whether it's xCloud or some sort of Nintendo Microsoft game partnership bringing Master Chief to Smash Brothers, Banjo-Kazooie is back, I'm not quite sure, but it's one to keep your eyes on. We probably won't hear much until later this year. It seems like it's going to be not an E3 reveal, but rather something towards the end of the year. But gosh darn it, this is getting good for Nintendo. New hardware, new games, new Zelda, maybe even more, and a Microsoft Tango dance? I am so here for it. And I hope you're here for the poll every freaking evening. Make sure to check our community tab where we ask you the important questions, like today's big question. What side of the bed do you sleep on? I mean, look, Nintendo's not doing anything, so I wasn't about to come up with a Switch question. I was gonna ask an important question that is critical, and I learned something crazy. Why do you sleep in the center of your bed? Which I did not think was a thing. I mean, I scooch up right to the side. I gotta pick a side. I pick the side closest to the door, closest to my nightstand, and where I can sleep like this, because I've always slept like this from the time I was very little. Always like this way. Right hand, left hand, cheek on top, close your eyes, you better not stop. Oh, why do you sleep in the center? 29% said you sleep in the center, and I thought that was weird, but apparently it's very normal. Also, there's a few out there that are sleeping diagonally or sideways. I had that phase in my life, I feel for you. There was a period of 5 months where I was sleeping completely sideways on my bed. I'm not sure what was going on in my head, but it clearly needed to be worked out at nighttime. Now, I sleep on the left side like 37% of you. 34% sleep on the right side, a very even split. I'm left-handed. Does that matter? There's definitely not 37% left-handed people in this debate. So I guess left is just preferable. Is it closer to the door? How do you have your bed rotated? My bed always has to be oriented in a specific way in a room so that I can left side sleep to face the door. Not because I'm afraid, It just feels better to be opened to the rest of the house rather than closed to the corner. But yeah, nobody else in the bed, and I'm like totally scooched over to the side, like one roll and I'm gonna fall. I just luckily stay very still and sleep like a baby. But that'll do it for another awesome episode of GMM. We're almost to 50, the big 50, over the hill, or just getting started is how I like to think of it. Thank you so much for supporting the show for 49 episodes and supporting this idea of mine to just come on here, have fun, talk about what I love, and share my passion and positivity and mug obsession with all of you. I appreciate you. Make sure to smash that like button to show some support. I'll see y'all on episode 50. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay smart out there. Maybe Nintendo, maybe you could announce something for episode 50. Wouldn't that be nice? Good Morning Mario 50 gets a big announcement. It's kismet, it's perfect, it'd be beautiful. It's unlikely, but I'll see you back tomorrow anyways. Hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again. SwitchForce out.